Welcome to Rocks Talks. Good morning. It is Monday, the, I don't know, 21st, maybe 20, I think it's the 22nd, actually. It's good to see you all. It is dark as I look outside my windows, but it's light here with you. I just woke up. That's not true. I've been up for a little bit uh, in bed, but I got up at like 3 in the morning and I'm like, that's not necessary. So I just was in bed on my computer, my phone. Good or bad, I don't know. I don't care. That's what I was doing. And I was doing something, a bit of a purging that I want to tell you about in a moment. But I also just want to let you know what we're going to talk about today. Thank you so much for listening and watching all those things. So we can catch you up on the weekend. A crazy story I saw about, is it pronounced Kyte? Clothing, baby clothing. Wild. We got to talk about that. And also, I want to just share with you some changes and some things that I've been up to. Okay, so let's get started. I think we need to get started with the Kyte story because when I saw it on Friday, I was like, oh my gosh, why am I not doing a show on Saturday? Just because I wanted to talk about it because I thought it was wild. Are you familiar with Kyte baby clothing? I was not familiar with it. Apparently they do like bamboo clothing. It's a woman-owned business, has a following on Instagram, all the things. Well, apparently one of the employees at Kyte, she has adopted a child, and the child was born at 22 weeks. If I get some of this information wrong, forgive me, but I'm giving you enough so you can run with it or have that conversation. So you've got something to discuss, and I have some questions for you about it as well too. Okay, so she was adopting a baby, was prematurely born at 22 weeks, so naturally in the NICU. NICU is 9 hours away from where this woman lives. So she reached out to her company and asked if she could work from home. That was denied, flat out denied. And also, she couldn't use FMLA. If you know anything about mat leave and all the rules and things and whatnot, you can't get FMLA, family, what is it? Family leave. Basically, it's leaving for family, medical leave, whatever it is. Gosh, I never thought FMLA. We'll just call it that. You're not eligible for it apparently unless you've worked a certain period of time. I believe she has to work a year. Y'all, I should have looked at this before, but I didn't. And so she wasn't eligible. So she ended up being terminated or had to quit her job. And this story became viral and people got really upset because, well, naturally, you're working for a baby clothing company. So you should, or you'd think, value families and the art of like just supporting your employees, and they end up terminating her. Went so viral that people started boycotting Kyte, Kyte. And when I heard this story, I was like, what? So they started boycotting it, or canceling it, or whatever you want to call it. We'll talk about that. And as a result, the owner came out and said, apologized, I guess, did 2 apology videos. They must not have gone over very well because she didn't do just one, but she did 2. Everyone's boycotting it. They're commenting on the posts. And what does Kyte do? Oh, rookie mistake. They turn off their comments for the last like 10, 12 posts. So I had to go down. I was digging because I'm like, okay, typically when people do this amateurish, I'm going to turn off my comments. There's some comments that were left on. And sure enough, the most recent post that still allowed comments had all these people going, I can't believe you turned off your comments, and I'm not supporting you, and I'm done with you, and all these things. So the owner, she came back, apologized, and offered this young woman her job back. Well, she did not. She said she declined it. Obviously, she didn't want to go back. And I'm really excited to say when I went to bed last night, the GoFundMe for her was up to $80,000. I'm sure it's even higher now. And a lot of the people who'd been given money were other baby and child companies, which I thought was also cool. Like giving thousands of dollars to her. It doesn't hurt, right? So here's my question for you, because I was looking at some of the commentary on this. And some people were saying, well, before I say that, how do you feel about it? Do you think that the right thing happened? Do you think that she should have been, do you think it was right that they didn't allow her to work from home? The owner came out and said, I'm sorry, that was my personal decision. It was a wrong decision. Of course, it's a wrong decision. Now she's losing all her business. But a wrong decision. I would like to believe she believes it's a wrong decision in general. Do you think it was right that people are boycotting her or canceling her? We're talking about cancel culture here. And before you get into it's the red and the blues or it's the Dems and the Republicans, I actually don't have revisionist history. I mean, everyone probably has some of it. But I remember when canceling, before it was like cancel culture, when canceling was a thing. And I just want to say that on both sides of the aisle, the canceling cultures happened. If you lived during back when they're called, the artist formerly called Dixie Chicks, they were canceled by conservatives. True story. Okay. So I don't want to hear anyone like, oh, the left always cancels. Yes, the left cancels. The right cancels too. You both cancel. You all cancel. Okay. So my question for you is that the right thing to do? Do you think that was the right thing to do? I think there's this stigma right now on certain words, things like cancel culture, things like woke. We can talk about that one day as well too, where I'm like, can we go back to like the point of it all? If I'm a consumer and I decide that I don't agree with the way someone decides to run their business or their personal life for that matter, and I want to say I'm not going to spend money on them, I'm not going to give my money to you, I think that's totally fine. Call it cancel, call it patriotism, call it whatever you want, depending on what side you're on. There's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. And I think that it's I'm sorry, but money talks, right? I'm not sorry. Money talks. And as a result, if you're sitting there as a little person, we already probably most of us feel like there's not much happening in Washington, because some people are like, they shouldn't cancel. You shouldn't boycott this company because now you're hurting all the other employees there. What you should do is they're saying you should lobby with the Senate. You should lobby with your congressman. You should lobby with the government to change the laws when it comes to not just childcare, maybe a little bit of that, but more importantly, they're saying when it comes to healthcare and women and parents for that matter, doesn't matter, man, woman, whatever, but they're the rights when they have kids. And it's like, well, that's beautiful. But I don't know if you've been looking at our government over the last, I don't know. Both sides are in trouble. I mean, in my opinion, not a lot seems like it gets done. So if you're like me, okay, and you don't have the inner workings you don't have access to politicians that actually do stuff. I don't think anyone has access to that. Sorry, not sorry, true story. What you can do is you can feel like you're making a difference by deciding where your dollars go. And so if that means you're like, you know what? I'm not going to give money to a company who decided that they weren't going to either bend the rules, do an exception, which they could have, she could have done all those things to help one of their employees who literally has to be in the NICU with her 22-week-old child, then I think you have a right to do that. Just like people had a right to say they're upset with whomever, whether it's an artist or an athlete or an actor or a alcohol company for doing what they're doing, or like, I don't know, Candace Cameron Bure for doing what she's doing. It's okay for people to say, you know what, that's fine, you can feel that way, but I choose not to back you with my dollars. We can call it cancel culture if we want a cute name for it, but what else are you supposed to do? I'd love to hear the alternative, as opposed to hearing people say that's just so wrong, or everybody's doing it. It's been done. It's been done forever and a day. It's not, no side of the fence has coined it. Yeah, I'll do it. And I think it's okay. Is that okay for me to say that? Yeah. Listen to my podcast and say whatever I want. And if you don't like it, you can leave. It's the same thing, right? It is your right. And it's one of the beautiful rights that we have. I think it's unfortunate what happened to Kyte. I hope they learn from it. And I hope that they are able to bounce back. But we are the country of really rising from the ashes. We are like the Phoenician country. Seriously, we love to see someone who gets knocked down get back up again. You ain't never gonna get me down. And so I wish that for them. I wish for their rebirth and that story for them. And I'm happy to see people not only saying, hey, this is my opinion, I'm going to act how I want to, which for some of them were like, I'm going to give money to GoFundMe. Others were like, I'm not going to give money to Kyte. However they want to do it, I think it's totally okay. So this morning I told you I couldn't sleep. And so what I did was I was on Facebook, the Book of Faces, because apparently in my neighborhood, They don't use Nextdoor. I got a Nextdoor even before we moved because I'm like, okay, I want to see what's going on. And there was like no conversation. Well, lo and behold, my husband Scott was talking to the neighbor and he was like, we're on Facebook. So, okay, fine. And so I was on Facebook checking out the neighbor community group. And then I'm like, you know what? It's been a long time since I've gone through my Facebook groups and gotten rid of them. And so I did. I couldn't get through all of them, but there's some groups I don't even know I was in. That happens a lot on Facebook, and groups that just don't serve me any longer. Groups that, yes, I was once a part of, but I'm not doing that anymore, and it didn't make sense to stay in it. And it felt really good. The only thing that was annoying was Facebook every so often would ask, why are you leaving? Tell us more. And I'm like, no, I don't feel like it, Facebook. I just need to get out of this group. There's something called an energy leak, and I truly believe in it. One of my coaches told me about this a couple years ago. And when she said it, I was like, oh, Lauren Armstrong is her name. I'm like, that's an interesting concept. We have these energy leaks that literally do suck our energy. It's like open lines of communication or things that we have that we could really just close. And so I felt really good just closing it. I was like, I feel like as I'm in this new chapter, and y'all, the chapter is real. Okay, let me get to that very quickly too. But I'm wondering, I would love to know from you. Tell me, like, how many Facebook groups can you get rid of? What energy leaks do you have that you can kind of eliminate? Right now, for me, getting rid of the Facebook groups that don't serve me. So I was driving to dance. I worked out, by the way, Saturday. I went to one of the Lifetimes, one in Tempe, and I did the yoga class in the morning, flow, and I did the dance jam. I'll tell you about dance jam because there were 43 people there, and the dance jam class was hopping, and there was a sub, and there were 43 people. I was like, okay. So apparently Arizona has a dancing community. Didn't know that. Awesome. And then yesterday morning I went back to dance fitness with Big Kid Rick. Check him out on Instagram, on the gram, and did the Sunday morning class. And as I was driving there, I'm like, okay, Roxanne, as a manifestor, a human design manifestor, I got to talk. I got to inform. This is what I got to do. And I was thinking about what I want to do and how I want to do it because I'm really leaning into more content, doing a lot of my own stuff and working on my own personal brand. This is part of that. This is truly part of it, you being here and us being together. And I decided to create a new Instagram account. My Rockstocks is still there, don't worry. And I actually have one called Rockstocks Show that I made that I haven't done anything with, that I'll probably do something with as well at some point. But it's called Valley Rocks because rocks, R-O-X me, but Valley because it's the Valley of the Sun. Phoenix is known as the greater Phoenix area, but the Valley of the Sun. And so it's going to be me really highlighting as I reintroduce myself to the Valley of the Sun and just fall in love with it all over again and all the things it has already. Like I was putting together, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, that. I have lots of content from just the couple weeks I've been here that I'm going to start putting on there. So I did put our New Year's Eve dinner we had at this cuisine. It's called Cuisine and Wine Bistro. You never would know it exists. It was delicious. And so I popped that on there as well too. And I just said, hey, so if you want to check it out, it's Valley Rocks, VALLEYROX. And it's part of my new iteration of things. And I also, when I said it, like I did a little post and I let it share to my personal Facebook account, which I'm never on. I just said, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Because my other one goes to my Facebook business account. Y'all, I turned around and I had all these comments from all these people on my Facebook page. I'm like, oh my gosh, Facebook is still there. My personal Facebook page. I was like in shock. And then a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, we got to get together. Welcome back. So now I'm like, the pressure of, okay, now I'm here. And now I'm excited to get to know people again. But I was like, oh, I guess it's official. I do officially live here. Just in case I needed to be a little more official, I made it Facebook official. And just so you know, that is still a thing. Now I know. Too wild. Okay, I've been talking your ear off. I'd love for you to comment. Thanks for listening. Thanks for binging. I saw some of you binging over the weekend, which is amazing. And I did get them up. I got last week's pods up on the official podcast. So if you will listen to like Apple Podcasts, or you know someone who does, or Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts, it is on there as well too. Tomorrow I'm going to tell you a little bit about some changes I'm doing in general with my other podcasts as well too, and just keep you up to breast on all the things. All right, you all are amazing, and I shall talk to you soon. But in the meantime, it's Monday. Go be great. Bye, everybody.